Across the nighttime, city wakes a sleepless eye. Hear her voice shake my window. We seduce inside. In me out into the nighttime. Won't hold me tonight. If this town is just an apple, let me take a bite. If they say why, till I'm not, it's human nature. Why does she do me that way? If they say why, till I'm not, it's human nature. Why does she do me that way? Reaching out, I touch her shoulder. Electric eyes are everywhere. Say that girl, she knows I'm watching. Likes the way I stare. If they say why, I tell them that it's human nature. Why does she do me that way? If they say why, tell them that it's human nature. Why does she do me that way? I like loving this way. I like living this way. It's the original song right here. It goes like this. She went and found her a new man. What does he do that I couldn't do? I bet he planned to change his last name. But does that make the man better? No. She's a heart that he didn't break. It was my job to stop the pain. But it's harder when you mess up. Even though you gave what you love, your efforts are all in vain. It don't feel the same. It's not easy to move on. You know you did it wrong. You shouldn't feel no pain, 'cause she figured out the game. Oh, stop playing games. Nothing is solid. Let her find love without you. Games. Find you a new start. You won't give up in a bad heart. Tell me, how does it feel to know a shoulder to lean on was always there when you needed it? Never was there to return a favor. Now that they're gone, you wanna change a little, you wanna do right and know how you feel. Especially when feelings were real. Oh, you get tired of when you mess up. Even though you gave what you love, your efforts are all in vain. It don't feel the same. Not easy to move on. You know you did the girl wrong. You shouldn't feel no pain, 'cause she figured out the game. Stop playing games. Nothing is solid. Let her love without you. Games. Find you a new start. You won't give up in a bad heart. Stop playing. Stop playing. Stop playing games. Games. Find you a new side. You won't get back in a bad heart. One, two, three. Mother, everybody says we're wrong. I think to judge us simply 'cause our hair is long. You know we got to find our way to bring some love in here today. Yeah. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer. For only love can conquer hate. You know we got to find our way to bring some understanding here today. Yeah. Picking lines and picking signs. Yeah. Don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me so you can see. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Oh, up the Mother, we don't need to escalate. Yeah. You see, what is not the answer? But only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find our way to bring some understanding here today. Say, I picking lies, it's signs. Don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me so you can see. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Right on. Break it down, let's go like this. So, what's going on? 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 Groove it out, groove it out.
Yeah, yep. All right, as we start, before we get in started, there's some seats up here, so come on in. You don't have to hide back there. I'm not going to point you out or anything, but come on in. Enjoy the entertainment and the program. So before we start, isn't that a great way to kick off our 2024 MLK celebration? Give it up for C3 and his amazing band. C3 is an amazing, talented artist, so you'll be able to hear more of his band after the program is over, and he'll be playing for at least another 30 minutes. So to get us kicked off, I would like to say good afternoon and welcome to Washtenaw Community College's 18th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. It's my pleasure to be your host for today's celebration. I'm Dr. Eric Reed, Dean of Student Access, Success, Equity, and Inclusion here at the college. And today's celebration was hosted and coordinated by our Office of Diversity and Inclusion and members of our Diversity Committee. So the last few years, this celebration has highlighted Dr. King's vision of becoming a beloved community. Just to remind you of what a beloved community is, this is a community where issues such as poverty, homelessness, and hunger and other injustices simply cannot exist when there's an all-inclusive spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood. So as we, WCC, as we strive to become a beloved community, today is the opportunity for us to pause and reflect on Dr. King's fight towards economic justice. More specifically, in Dr. King's last Sunday sermon in Washington, D.C., in 1968, he preached, "If a man doesn't have a job or an income, he has neither life nor liberty, nor the possibility for the pursuit of happiness. He merely exists." As you reflect on the quote, think about the work we do here at the college. And think about how it lives up to Dr. King's fight towards economic justice, not only for the residents of Washtenaw County, but also for people across the nation and our world. So our program includes a special song tribute, once again by C3, messages from our president, messages from our alumni speaker, and our keynote, Dexter Sutherland. And then lastly, we'll be presenting our annual Equity in Action Awards. To begin our program, we have Christina Doe, Coordinator of Student Equity and Inclusion, with us to deliver our land acknowledgement, which was developed by WCC Sustainability Council. A land acknowledgement is a formal statement that recognizes and respects indigenous peoples as traditional stewards of the land, an enduring relationship that exists between indigenous peoples and traditional territories. Please welcome Christina Doe.
Hello, everyone, and thank you all for being here to honor Dr. King. As members of the Washtenaw Community College community, we humbly acknowledge that the campus occupies the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands of diverse Native peoples. The taking of this land was formalized in a process alien to Native cultures by the Treaty of Detroit in 1807 with the Anishinaabe, Odawa, Ojibwe, Potawatomi, as well as the Wyandot of the Huron Nation. Many other Native peoples lived on this land at different times, including the Meskwaki, Asakiwaki, Shawanwaki, Kiwigapawaki, Miamya, Mashkuten, and Aniunuwiwa. Since the origin of the college in 1965, we have benefited from the use of this land where we work and study, and from its life, beauty, and spirit. We recognize our responsibility to understand and care for this land, and we honor with our deepest gratitude the Native people who have stewarded it for generations. To the Anishinaabe people, Chi Miigwech, many thanks. Acknowledgement by itself is a small gesture, but let this step be an opening to greater public consciousness of Native history, sovereignty, and cultural rights, and a step toward equitable relationship and reconciliation. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina, for delivering our land acknowledgement. We believe it's very important to not only recognize but pay tribute to the debts owed to indigenous peoples, as we do not take for granted the use of the land we utilize every single day. Next, I'd like to bring again our talented guest, C3. C3 is a third-generation recording artist, singer, songwriter who happens to also be a community college graduate, as well as a graduate of Detroit Institute of Music Education, also known as DIME. He has frequently performed at Detroit's most notable venues, music festivals, and concert series, and one of his most distinct honors is performing for the Jacksons. Please welcome C3.
How y'all doing today? Y'all doing good? That's good. That's good. I'm so glad that Dr. E called me to do this opportunity. It's like a full circle. I didn't go here to school, but I went to Schoolcraft and I studied audio engineering there. From there, I went to DIME and I studied songwriting. Got my BA in creative writing. And so it's just dope to be in this atmosphere. I was telling the guys as we was walking up, like, this college. I graduated 2018, so it's good to be here, and I'm glad for the opportunity. But I am a songwriter, and I just want to sing this song for you guys today. It's called One Day. I really believe that we can all unite, I don't really like separation where it's blacks over here, whites over here, Hispanic over here. I like to see unity. Even at my shows, I like to see a group of people that's unified, you know what I mean? So let's do this song, fellas.
I wanna show the people what lives in me. Show the people what they could be. Like have the courage to stand for what's right. Because they have a light that shines inside. Tearing down the walls of our society. Building up the walls of prosperity. We can stop the war and unite as one. So we can shine together and be brighter than the sun. To my brothers, let's self-find one another. To my sisters, don't let your scars determine your path, my friend. Just be my friend till the end, and everything will be grand as long as we follow this plan. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, if we follow this grand plan, everything will be okay. This part, I'm gonna need y'all to help me out. It goes like this. And we all say, one day, 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 one day. One day, 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 one day. Can I hear you help me say that? Say one day, say one day, one day, one day, one day. We will all unite. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Everybody in the room, if you believe that, we just gonna declare that one more time. One day, say, one day, 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 one day.
Beyond words, amazing, fantastic, and I do believe one day we will unite. One day we'll become a beloved community, and one day we'll continue to fight towards economic justice. One more time for C3 and the band. Next, I'd like to invite our very own president, Dr. Rose Belanca. She'll deliver her remarks at the stage. Thank you.
This is so great to see all of you here. I mean, when I walked in, there were as many people behind me as there are now. And so just by all of you coming, I can see the spirit that you have and our goal for that one day. And I think every day we work toward that one day. And I do have to say to C3, are you C3? Okay. I didn't know if they were all C3. I'm sure you're all C3. That's a beautiful song that you wrote. And it tells me you have a beautiful spirit. So keep singing that because I think it will happen. Thank you. So here we are, very, very special day about a great man and someone who has inspired all of us. And before I begin my remarks, I know that my remarks also represent the feelings of our Board of Trustees. And with us today, we do have one member of our Board of Trustees, Alex Milstein. And I'm wondering, Alex, if you could stand and be recognized. Thank you. Thanks for being here. And Eric and your team, thank you. This is remarkable and really critical. So thank you so, so very much. You know, we all know that Dr. King consistently championed economic opportunity for everyone. And this is, as Eric mentioned, a point that he drove home very effectively during his last sermon at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. on March 1968. He told his congregants, "It's all right to tell a man to lift himself by his own bootstraps, but it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself up by his own bootstraps." How true is that? And years later, 55 years later, the U.S. Census Bureau tells us that economic disparity is still with us, and it does deserve our unwavering attention. More than 11% of the United States population lives in poverty, and I'm shocked that that number is so low. Because from what I see and have experienced, it seems like it has to be much greater than that. But I'm not going to argue with them. But these numbers can be intimidating, and they can make us all feel helpless. And Dr. King told his listeners, we cannot afford to detach ourselves from the demands of the ever-present issues like economic disparity. We must remain engaged and contribute to solutions and not worsen the problems. Solutions. Solutions is what we're about here. We're about solutions and opening doors to everyone, and so that their dreams and aspirations can come to fruition. And if those dreams and aspirations may not be, sometimes we don't even know what they are, we can help you find them. So I know probably the majority of us in this room we've probably found our dreams and aspirations. And we're all here contributing to one day. But you know what? Why don't we just all go out there and find one person? One person. And just think about that. One person that we can bring here to this college and share this wonderful experience with them. Because that's why we're here, for that. We are very, very blessed here at this college to partner with businesses and to partner with industries that help shape our academic programs, like Advanced IPSY, for example, which is a historic new initiative to strengthen pathways to economic prosperity for Ypsilanti residents through job training and education. And by the way, not for minimum wage work, not for minimum wage work, a real living wage. And we're very, very proud of that effort. We're honored here to have someone really very important with us, our keynote speaker, and Dexter Sullivan from Detroit. And I looked on your website and I watched your YouTubes. And so I know what they wrote here to say, what I'm supposed to say is really true. Okay. He is very passionate. He is a passionate community advocate and business leader dedicated to providing talent and education resources that raise up the economically disadvantaged. Mr. Sullivan's impactful work inspiring sustainable, equitable solutions for marginalized populations has made him a highly sought-after global advisor. And we look forward to hearing from him in just a few minutes. And it's through these ongoing partnerships with industry and community organizations like WCC and with people like Dexter Sullivan and C3 that help us remain awake and engaged in lifting others up. So thank you. Thank you for helping us celebrate. And this is really a celebration. So can I hear some noise? Yeah, that's right. Okay. So I was your warm-up act, Dexter. I was your warm-up act. Was I okay? Okay. So please join me in welcoming Dexter Sullivan.
Thank you again, President Blanca, for those warm remarks. So we have Dexter Sullivan here with us today, our keynote speaker for our 2024 MLK Day celebration. But before we move on to Dexter, we're going to have our alumni speaker to give a speech with us today, and Mr. Corey Jackson, who is a WCC alum and also Client Relations Manager for Workforce Development Division. And he reflected on this one quote: "I have a dream. This dream is one of equality, of opportunity, of privilege and prosperity widely distributed. A dream of land where men will not take necessities from the many to give luxuries to the few. A dream of a place where all of our gifts and resources are held not for ourselves, but alone as instrument of services to rest of humanity." Join me and welcome Corey Jackson, our alum speaker.
Good afternoon. I want to express my heartfelt thanks to President Blanca, VP Tucker, Dean Reed, and Christina Doe for this opportunity to share a few words today. On a day where we honor the legacy and the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. When I was a young student, learned about Dr. King in middle school, his message struck a chord in me. It wasn't just the eloquence of his words, but the depth of his dream that inspired me. A dream of equality, opportunity, and justice. It is this same dream that has guided me throughout my life, motivating me to pursue education and strive for greatness against all odds. The theme of today's event, economic justice, is a crucial part of Dr. King's dream. His vision of a world where prosperity is widely distributed and resources are used for the service of humanity. Growing up in one of Detroit's poorest communities, where the stark realities of inequality were ever present, the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. felt both essential and distant. Yet, it was this very dream that kindled my determination to rise above my circumstances. If anyone here is familiar with the east side of Detroit, I grew up a stone's throw away from Grosse Pointe. And every day, I was confronted with the stark revelation of societal disparities. In my neighborhood, the signs of economic struggle were omnipresent, such as abandoned homes, criminal activity, and overwhelming violence. Yet just a few streets away, there were streets lined with well-kept houses, manicured lawns, and children playing freely. This striking juxtaposition, which was so close, yet worlds apart, reflected profound disparities in access to resources, community support, and educational opportunities. And it taught me a powerful lesson in the realities of our society. I share this experience not to discourage you, but to offer a narrative of resilience and hope. The story of a young person from a less privileged background who, through the grace of God, hard work, and education, forged a path to places once deemed unreachable. My story, which was recently featured by the WCC Foundation, is not just my own. It mirrors the journey of many who start with less, but dream of more. This college played a pivotal role in my path, providing me with the education and support I needed to transfer to the University of Michigan, the home of the greatest national college football champions ever. Go Blue. And it was there that I completed my bachelor's and master's degree in psychology. Thank you. Thank you. I'm now extremely grateful to be working here at WCC, where I see myself as a facilitator of Dr. King's dream. Every day, I am reminded that through education, we have the power to transform lives, break down barriers, and move closer to a world of economic justice and equality. As we celebrate Dr. King today, let's remember the progress we have made and the journey that lies ahead. Each contribution we make in our jobs, our families, and our communities brings us one step closer to realizing this dream. Let's continue to work towards a future where every student and every community member will have the opportunity to achieve their full potential. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. We appreciate your willingness to share your personal experiences in order to advocate for more students that might follow in your same footsteps. Your passion for what you mentioned, you said facilitating Dr. King's dream will surely advance our opportunity to become a beloved community here. So thank you. Now, as we continue our program and move forward, I'm extremely excited to introduce our keynote, Dexter Sullivan, for our 2024 MLK celebration. Originally from Detroit, Dexter left his hometown to complete a Bachelor of Science degree at Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Coming from a strong background of entrepreneurship and business, Dexter's leadership has played a key role in various professional contexts, including sales, recruiting, higher education, as well as spearheading and co-leading startups. Canvassing the majority of the United States and 20 other nations abroad, Dexter's work has measurably empowered global communities, impacting leadership standards, social constructs, educational policy, and stimulating sustainable, equitable solutions for marginalized populations. His reputation has established him as a credible voice and thought leader, making him a highly sought-after advisor for global shapers around the world. Dexter is also the founder of Dexter Sullivan Enterprises, a business collective that facilitates consulting services, philanthropic projects, and other cutting-edge ventures. Very notably and familiar to this college, in 2020, his organization convened the Michigan Mobilities Institute Mobility On-Ramp Collaborative, a state-funded initiative that created a long-term talent solutions for the mobility industry. He chairs the Black Legacy Advancement Coalition, a movement that builds Black power by providing education resources that uplift community. In his spare time, Dexter enjoys bike riding, good music, live concerts, road trips, and spending quality time with family and friends. He is an active member of his local church and serves as a mentor and youth advocate in his community. Please join me in welcoming our 2024 keynote speaker, Dexter Sullivan.
I always want to know when they read that who they're talking about. How's everyone doing today? It's an honor to be with you, WC3. Well, wait, hold on. Wrong place. WCC. Absolutely. Is anybody glad to be here today? Yes. And to C3, that's what got me thrown off, was their C3. You got a crystal clear tenor, man. I mean, phenomenal. And you all are phenomenal. Can we give them a hand again? Yes. And to President Blanca, thank you so much for your kindness and your hospitality and having us here today. It's an absolute privilege. To the Board of Trustees and the representative that's here, to all of the leadership of the college, to the staff and the faculty, to my good friend, Dr. Reed. I so appreciate you, man. You guys clap for my friend. I appreciate that. And to Vice President Tucker, it's a pleasure to see you always. And to Corey, man, that was phenomenal. Phenomenal. You all give Corey a hand. I absolutely enjoyed hearing what you had to say. And today is a very special day. Before we move on through the program, we also want to acknowledge County Sheriff's Office and the entire student body. How many students are in the room today? Excellent. I know that you all are working hard and you got your heads down and you're in the books and you're doing your thing, but take a moment. As we were coming in today, I'm not alone today. I brought a couple of my guys, Samaje and Jay are with me. And as we were driving up, I was telling Samaje, man, isn't it such a beautiful day? And he's looking at me like, it's just a bunch of trees and clouds, man. Like, what's wrong with you? But as you all are moving through the vicissitudes of your studies and getting it done and making it happen, don't forget to pause and take in what is likely the most important season of your life, and that's preparing for the future. You guys are going to go on to do some incredible things. I can only imagine that when Corey got started, he didn't anticipate sitting right there where he is now. And you all are headed for some awesome days and for some incredible things. Before we move on, if you'll just say something with me, and you may say, I'm not saying nothing that bald-headed guy got to say today, but if you would, turn to your neighbor and just let them know, I am somebody. Okay, Somebody's neighbor didn't want to talk to him today. You got to do like we're in church. Find one more good neighbor and tell them, I am somebody. That's right. All right. Don't push me now, because we'll have church right here in the Student Center. But growing up in Detroit, I had the privilege of attending Paul Robeson Academy. And when we would get the day started, as young as 4 and 5 years old, we had to start out with an affirmation, and we had to say, I am somebody, until they believed that we believed it. And that became a very important foundation for me. We also had to recite our affirmations on time, on task, on a mission, and so many other things that became the core essence, really, of what was our orientation towards life. And I want to encourage you, before we jump into our speech today, that despite the challenges, despite the price that you pay just to be you and to show up every day, you must understand that there is value, there is worth, there is importance to what you contribute and what you bring to the table. And we appreciate you for that. Well, today we remember a hero, we remember a world changer, a global voice, a shaper of history, one that changed the temperature of the modern world as we know it today. Today, Dr. King's work is easily traced to his contributions made during the Civil Rights Movement through protest and reform and many of the activations that we saw in his career. But his leadership and his legacy is really so much more than that. From law to education to economics to philosophy. Any philosophy majors in here today? Y'all left all the philosophy majors in the classroom, but that's all right. The vastness of his reach can still be felt in the vibrations of life that he left behind on every sector of our society. Dr. King was a multi-dimensional thinker. His transformative legacy impact has lasting proof, especially when we get those absentee ballots in the mail here pretty soon and cast our vote. We are experiencing Dr. King's legacy. We can also understand that for the most part, when we go to a ballot box, if we vote in person, we do that peacefully. That is in part because of Dr. King. 60 years later, some of those that are coming along today wouldn't know this, but both the Voters' Right Act and the Civil Rights Act of the 60s were crafted by conferences of people led by Dr. King. And though under great attack today, his work still lives to protect our rights to engage in the battles at the ballot box. And it was not an easy fight. Many lost their lives. Could you imagine? Many were left maimed and beaten and brutalized, simply attempting to cast their vote. Not to mention the countless organizers and activists that sat in, that boycotted, that traveled by bus to protest, to march, to freedom, to really push for that. The movement, or the struggle as some would call it today, had a monumental impact on our nation's future. And it has brought us to several crossroads as it pertains to human rights, as it pertains to our equality. And this foundation is what now empowers the powerful realities of a diversely celebrated American landscape, the one that we see today. Dr. King's generation may not have even imagined a Dr. Eric Reed, somebody given to the work of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is so important. Now a billion-dollar industry in our country. I don't know that they would have imagined that 60 years ago. It has brought us to this point. Now we sit a little bit higher. We're atop a foundation of equality. We now relish in conversations around our equity. What was once a ground floor has now become blessed to be an assembly of walls and halls and furnishings that we build our financial house. With black billionaires and millionaires in sight, a powerful illusion is now cast for us to possibly imagine that all of Black America has been given its due as it pertains to restorative justice. but still there is room to climb. The wealth gap today is a continuation of decades-long trends in wealth inequality. Our theme of economic justice challenged me to look at the numbers. And over the past 30 years, the median wealth of the white household has consistently dwarfed that of black households, ranging from a gap of $106,000 in 1992 to $185,000 in 2007. Furthermore, in 2020, white households, who accounted for 60% of the United States population, held 84% of total household wealth in the United States, that in excess of $94 trillion. Comparatively, black households, who account for just 13.4% of the U.S. population, held just 4%, or $4.6 trillion of that total household wealth. We still have room to climb. Although Black America has accumulated more wealth in recent years than ever before, the median net worth still lags behind. The net worth of the typical black household in 2022 was $44,900, according to the Federal Reserve. That's up more than 61% for blacks since 2019. Even with these gains, our wealth remains only a fraction of that of our counterparts, whose wealth was $285,000 per household as of 2019 on average. Asian Americans had the highest median net worth at $536,000 among racial groups, that being 10 times the wealth of our black households. You may say, why is he walking through all of that data? I just want us to see that there's still room to climb. The racial wealth gap is still vast, and black Americans remain in last place. From the Birmingham jail, though, Dr. King taught us that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice where? We are caught in that inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny, knowing that whatever affects one indirectly affects us all directly. And as long as Black America remains at the bottom of the value totem pole, economic justice is not a reality. Our economy is how we measure. It's how we see that evolution and that progress as a people. And not just as black people or as white people or as brown or as red or as yellow, but as all people. As long as one remains at the bottom, all of us have yet room to climb. And so in 1941, those of you that would remember FDR in his State of the Union address during World War II, he made a case for the international fight that we were experiencing, stating that America's contribution was in the defense of 4 freedoms that are essential to people everywhere all over the world. 1 being the freedom of speech, 2 being the freedom of religion, 3 being freedom from want, and 4, freedom from fear. And at that time, the black activists brought into view for us to understand that most black people in America were routinely denied these freedoms. King was a diplomat. He was a change agent, a disruptor, a nuisance to the illusion of superiority. In no way was he monolithic in his work. His legacy, as we said before, multidimensional. Born from an inherently imparted awareness to struggle, he was raised by parents that knew the challenges of always having somewhat less than what they needed. And I think for us to understand the legacy of Dr. King today, to understand the man, really we have to understand his orientation to justice. To do that, we would have to look at the roads traveled by his forefathers. Because MLK's father, Daddy King, as he was affectionately called, was raised by Jim and Delia King. Jim born just 1 year before emancipation. They lived in Stockbridge, Georgia, during the Jim Crow era of severe limitation and injustice, scourged by the bruteness of chattel slavery and its lingering shame, sifted by the economic pressures held by the emancipation's retained injustices, freedom's rewards were still nowhere in sight for this emerging black man, Jim King, and his family. Often on the weekends, he drank a little too much and would brutalize his wife, Daddy King's mother, Martin Luther King's grandmother. But her faith in God and her pure, undefiled religion saw her through those bitter times coming up in the South, not knowing that they would be the parents and the grandparents of revolutionaries, of freedom fighters. They soon would see their son, ML, grow into a mature, resilient community leader with notable impact in that big city, Atlanta. This takes us now from the Stockbridge King era all the way to Sweet Auburn. It was there that Daddy King married the Reverend A.D. Williams' daughter, Alberta, who later would give birth to the young ML, or what we would call today Martin, and his other siblings. Coming from utter poverty in rural Stockbridge, Daddy King worked hard to build a life for his family there in Atlanta, one that resembled the best of what life could offer to a colored family at that time. And with his influence in the community and his staunch work ethic, the King family lived comfortably. They were able to own a home and a nice automobile. I believe they had a Packard at the time. They had money to spare for finer clothes, and this was the environment that Martin was being reared in. He spoke, even though in those early days, of being aware of the difference in his privilege and the plight of poor blacks living some just blocks away, that were survivors of the Great Depression, and though many still living in abject poverty. His parents would maintain a relationship with the poor, where Dr. King often was found with his parents sharing the little bit that they had. These were the foundation stones of a culture of connectedness to the least of these that stayed with King as he rose to prominence. Today, not only do we remember, but we look forward. We look forward. F.E. Clark states that an enslaved people, an oppressed people, cannot move forward towards liberation until they first understand the nature of oppression. The opposite is also true, that an oppressed people cannot understand the nature of oppression before they are inspired with hope and a vision of the freedom that they desire. So we can't stop this conversation that we're having today. We have to continue telling the stories, because what we're doing here today becomes very important when we keep the flame of justice burning every time we tell the stories. To understand the nature of that oppression, a people must first know who they are. They must understand their enemy. They must organize to struggle with their own weaknesses and the whole spectrum of oppressed conditions. You see, I am not my brother's enemy, and my brother is not my enemy. Ignorance is the enemy. At this point of acknowledging ignorance and coming into knowledge, we become a people that are no longer disempowered. Cognitive repositioning transitions our plight as enslaved Africans at one time to a restored consciousness and identity forged in this rich, beautiful, brilliant heritage that we are somebody. Black people are some of the strongest to ever collectively experience this life that we exist in. Through great affliction, we have weathered great storms, yet still we rise. Economic injustice has to be remedied, but that justice is not just about gold bars, houses, and cars. It's about power and reclaiming that righteous power. It's moving a people who have been torn from their native soil, destroyed physically, socially, emotionally, financially, systemically disempowered for generations, and strategically restoring these people to the righteousness of being uniquely and fully human. We are rebuilding from the collective ruins left from the darkest, deepest sustained slavery, mutilation, and degradation that any one group has ever faced on the globe. Having triumphed over centuries of injustice and plunder, today we are shapers of our own destiny. No longer are we waiting on permission, but we've taken back that power. We are bold, we are brave, we are brilliant beyond belief. And together, black, white, red, yellow, we are that strong cord of mutual destiny, more powerful than ever before. Having triumphed over centuries of pain, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. are arguably the two most prominent faces in the struggle for civil rights, affectionately coined the sword and the shield. As oppressed African people living in the capacities that America provides, we can't ever shake off mental shackles without leaders. And so both of these men died at the age of 39, 1 year shy of 40, which represents the number of generations. And though we've had many notables, none has galvanized unity among the races quite like Dr. King. He was that modern day Moses. The legacy work of his life culminates with his work in the Poor People's Campaign, in the theme of economic justice, which had been the source of his grandfather's pain, the motivator of his father's escape from poverty-driven tyranny, now became the crescendo to his lifelong labor in civil rights. Dr. King had come to the conclusion that there needed to be a dramatic effort to get the government to rededicate itself to war on poverty. He described his campaign as the beginning of a new cooperation, understanding and determination by poor people of all colors and backgrounds to assert and win their right to a decent life and respect for their culture and dignity. The campaign eventually was greatly challenged by the circumstances of the day, even by the weather, a lack of support and public scrutiny, but ultimately this campaign ushered in food assistance, nutritional programs that benefited low-income people. King never lived to see this vision, this prophetic vision of economic justice play out. He was assassinated April the 4th, 1968, and his death greatly overshadowed the Poor People's Campaign. As the nation reeled at his death, the campaign was swiftly forgotten, later described as the biggest protest on the Washington Mall that nobody had ever heard of. But the campaign paved the way with strong influence for other 21st century populist movements that followed. And that was really the legacy of Dr. King. He wasn't out for the credit. He was out for the work getting done. His plea was that we must honestly face the question of restructuring our American society. And 56 years ago, he was questioning our economic system and pushing for that broader distribution of wealth. And I believe if he was alive, he would still be pushing today. Today, reparations are overdue. In some places, they are being discussed. In some cases, they are even being paid. The broader discussion needs to render solutions that are significant and relevant to the gaps that Americans live with every day. Gaps in education, which you are working hard to solve. Gaps in our economic value, which we are working collectively to change. As people, we must learn that all we can must be done, and that we must do all that we can and be all that we can be. For if we prepare and present our best, there is nothing that can be denied us. In closing, I leave us with this challenge to remain divinely dissatisfied, that we all would stay equally engaged in the fight for justice, rising up to the impossibilities that are waiting for us to meet them, rising up to the daunting and difficult pursuits that are merely waiting to be surpassed by our innate brilliance, ability, and will to win. Rise up and look around you in the strength of our most radical and radiant ancestors that have gone before us. Rise up. That legacy, that fearless legacy, cannot be forgotten. And with a clear vision for justice, there is absolutely no limit to the greatness that we can achieve together. My brother, my sister, never stop short of being extraordinary. And with a clear vision for justice, economic justice, there is absolutely no limit to the greatness that we can achieve together. My brother and my sister, rise up to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly, always realizing the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. In our generation, we too shall overcome. Thank you so much.
One more round of applause for Dexter Seven. Thank you again, Dexter, for sharing your reflection on Dr. King's legacy and inspiring all of us to continue the fight towards economic justice. I myself, like you said, we're good friends, and not only heard it through the words, but I've actually seen the work he's doing with affordable housing and closing the talent gap, preparing youth for our jobs of the future. So thank you for not only your words, but also the work that you're doing, that you're inspiring us all. Thank you again. Now, as we get closer to the end of the program, I am thrilled to announce our most exciting part of the evening, the Equity in Action Awards. The Equity in Action Awards, just to remind you, these are given annually to recognize an employee of Washtenaw Community College, a program or initiative from the college, and a community partner that has made outstanding contributions in areas of equity and inclusion for WCC and our greater community. Our first Equity in Action Award recognizes an exceptional faculty or staff member, and it is my honor to present this award to Mary Mulalin. Mary is a full-time faculty member within the English and College Readiness Department. Her nomination specifically states, for many years, Mary has upheld diversity, equity, and inclusion in issues in various roles and spaces at the college. She has served as a steadfast source to support LGBTQIA+ students through a decade-long role as an advisor of the student org Outspace. In addition to her advocacy, she has consistently engaged other faculty and staff in meaningful professional and development opportunities to foster greater inclusion and sense of belonging for all underserved students at WCC. Congratulate Mary once again, and Mary, if you want to share a few words, you can come to the stage.
Thank you so much, Dean Reed. It's such an honor to receive this award. I was reflecting on it and thinking about my own experience in college, where I was first coming out as a queer person, and I was not given a lot of support. I had a group of friends, and we were really interested in diversity and social justice, and we got together and we were like, let's make a club. And then we were told by our college that our inclusiveness of LGBTQIA identities was not in alignment with the values of the college, and therefore we could not start a student club. And so when I came here and I was asked by a student, like, hey, we have a queer student club, like, would you be our advisor? It was like the moment I've been waiting for, you know what I mean? Like that I could finally give back and support students in a way that I wasn't able to be supported. And I feel like that's just such a beautiful part of this college, because I feel like if you want to support students in whatever way you feel called to support them, there's a place here. There are people. Dean Reed will be like, okay, what do you want to do? And that's just such a gift, right? That we are able to give back and to support our students. So thank you so much.
All right. Our next Equity in Action Award recognizing an exceptional college program or initiative. It is my honor to present this year's program award to the STEM Scholars team. That's science, technology, engineering, math. We have Susan Dento, Amy Comforter, and Alexi McCracken. Congratulations. And specifically, the nomination states WCC's STEM Scholars Program has opened doors to degrees and jobs for over 80 students since 2018, helping people of color, first-generation college students, and women overcome barriers to success in STEM fields. STEM Scholars Program deliberately addresses these barriers by crafting tight-knit student cohorts, enlisting mentors, supporting career exploration, and providing 2 years of scholarship support for students to transfer to a 4-year school. Congratulations to the STEM Scholars team.
There's so much I would love to say, and we had such great speakers and beautiful music, and this is truly an honor to accept on the part of our team. I remember doing a fellowship at U of M, and it was all about health disparity. And it was then I had the idea for building a program, and I thought of it as a great human bridge, a bridge to help students who are vulnerable. And we have a lot of vulnerable students at the community college, whether economically disadvantaged, whether they have different racial, ethnic barriers, cultural barriers. We have so much here. And I always have viewed every single student, even before I started this program, as a diamond. And I keep that in my brain till this day. Every human being is a diamond. Every student is a diamond. A lot of those students are untapped potential. They don't know they're a diamond. They don't know. And that's my job, is to inspire them, to let them know you can do it, you belong, and we're going to walk that bridge together. So the whole idea of the STEM Scholars Program is to support those students, to walk with them over the bridge so that they can transfer successfully, and not just transfer, but actually do like knockout stuff at the university. And we have now some proven success, and these students are knocking it out of the ball field, and they're doing wonderful things. And I feel very blessed. I feel that my role in this world is to be an instrument of love and peace, and to create this community environment for these students. And I'm blessed to be here at Washtenaw too, and I have an incredible team. And it's thank you very much.
Our final Equity in Action Award recognizes an exceptional community partner. It is my honor and privilege to present the award to Sheriff Jerry Clayton of the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office. His nomination states Sheriff Clayton has continued to support social justice reform in Washtenaw County and nationally, and he believes that the quality of life in this community is not just about enforcing laws, but also requires engagement with the community. Jerry L. Clayton is currently serving in his final term as the sheriff of Washtenaw County, and over the last 15 years, he has been an unwavering voice for integrating human services and policing. And in his absence today, Kathy Wyatt from the Sheriff's Office will accept this award, so please congratulate Sheriff Clayton.
Don't want to drop that. Hi, I'm Kathy Wyatt, and I work for Washtenaw County Sheriff Jerry Clayton. And he had intended to be here today, He thought he had enough. He thought he had enough time to get back from another part of the state. Unfortunately, the snow and weather and bad roads didn't agree with him. But he wanted to have me come today and express his gratitude for this award. And he did send me a few words to share with you. And these are the words of Washtenaw County Sheriff. I'd like to read them to you. I am honored and humbled to receive this award. I accept it on behalf of the men and women of the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office who continue to serve the people of this community faithfully. I accept this honor on behalf of all those who came before me, whose shoulders I stand on, folks who made the necessary sacrifices so I could serve the people of Washtenaw County as sheriff. He is the first African American sheriff in Washtenaw County. And Sheriff Clayton goes on to say, I understand this recognition is based on Dr. King's values and ideals relative to advocacy, leadership, and service. For 15 years, I have attempted to lead in this community with a commitment to service, equity, and a firm belief that extraordinary things do not happen due to a single person's efforts. Realizing the community we all want to experience, one that is well and safe, requires our collective efforts to serve and support each other, while also having the courage to ensure that the institutions intended to serve the people do so equitably. That continues to be my pledge to the Washtenaw County community. Thank you. This is from Washtenaw County Sheriff Jerry Clayton. And part of the reason that Sheriff Clayton is so honored to get this award from Washtenaw County Sheriff's, from the Washtenaw Community College, is because over this last 15 years, as sheriff, he has worked so hard and carried on his shoulder the responsibilities of making the lives of the people in Washtenaw County better and making the county a more just and equitable place. So this here, the award from Washtenaw County Community College means so much because that is what you do. You work hard every day to make people's lives better and to make Washtenaw County a better and more just place. So I would like to express my personal appreciation for being here at this community college and to accept this award on behalf of my boss and my friend, Washtenaw County Sheriff Jerry L. Clayton. Thank you all, and thank you, WCC.
And I'd like to just add, in addition to Sheriff Clayton, he has an amazing team, and Kathy has been doing years of work. And recently, not even recently, we have a lot of work with reentry and addressing recidivism. So I just want to give a round of applause for Kathy and all the work she's continuing to do to address recidivism. So. And for all of our recipients today, congratulations. So I'd like to close us out. I'd like to bring my esteemed colleague, Christina Doe, to close out our ceremony.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're as moved and inspired by the words and the music that were shared today as I am. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge everyone at WCC who worked behind the scenes to make this event possible. Thank you so much to our wonderful colleagues in conference services, media services, facilities, marketing, the copy center, student development activities, and the diversity committee. I'd also like to acknowledge my team from the Office of Diversity Inclusion, Gabrielle Johnson, Alejandro Cervantes, Maya Freeman, and of course, Dr. Eric Reed. We have more opportunities to continue practicing one of our core values here at WCC, which is continuous learning. I like to personally think of Martin Luther King Jr. Day as a call to action. Every year, a little bit after the new year, it's a fantastic opportunity as we settle in to reconsider where our society is and where we're going, where we're headed. So we have more opportunities for our campus community to come together and continue learning and growing together. I'd like to share a few details. We have an exciting new partnership with a team of faculty called the Allyship Academy. Nagash Clark, who is in the audience here today, I'd like to just give a shout out to him for bringing this idea to us. And there's, a whole team of other wonderful faculty that we're working with as well. So we have our first kickoff next Tuesday, January 16th at 3:30 in Garrett's. And it's going to be a 3-phase series of professional development centered on diversity, equity, inclusion. I hope you'll join us there to learn more. We also have our Martin Luther King Jr.'s film screening next Thursday, January 18th at 3:30 in Garrett's as well. And we're going to be watching the documentary Brother Outsider, The Life of Bayard Rustin. He was the principal organizer of the march, the 1963 March for Jobs and Freedom. 2023, we actually just celebrated the 60th anniversary of that today. And if you take a moment before you leave and look at the cards placed on each table, you'll see one of each of the 10 original demands of that march on those tables. So again, I encourage you to take a look at that, see what those original demands were and take a moment to just reflect on how much we've accomplished, how much progress has been made, and how much more work needs to be done. To end, I'd just like to quote our keynote speaker, Dexter Sullivan. Let's remain divinely dissatisfied and continue to work together towards a more equitable society. Thank you for being here.
So now is the time to continue enjoying music from C3, and we believe we still have some refreshments back there, so socialize, take some pictures, and enjoy the rest of the day. And like Christina said, let's continue to fight.
All right, let's celebrate. Come on. I know you wanna leave me, but I refuse to let you go. Ain't too proud to beg and plead for your sympathy. I don't mind, cause you mean that much to me. Ain't too proud to beg, yes you know it. Please don't leave me, girl, don't you go. Ain't too proud to plead, baby, baby. Please don't leave me, girl. I heard a crying man is half a man. No sense of pride. If I gotta cry to keep you, I don't mind weeping. If I keep you by my side, ain't too proud to beg.
'cause you know it. Leave me, girl, don't you go. Ain't too proud to please, baby, baby. Please don't leave me, girl, don't you go. So deep in the pit of my heart, and each day it grows more and more. I'm not afraid to come and plead to you, baby. If pleading keeps you from walking up the door, ain't too proud to beg. See, darling, please don't leave me, girl. Ain't too proud to plead, baby, baby. Please don't leave me, girl. Don't you go. On your doorstep all night and day, just to keep you from walking away. Let your friends laugh, even this I can say, but I wanna keep you any way I can. Ain't so proud, sweet darling, don't leave me, girl. Say, ain't so proud to please, baby, baby. Please don't leave me, girl, don't you? Thank you, thank you, thank you. If y'all want to connect with me, make sure y'all follow me on Instagram at C3 the Artist, at C3 the Artist. Let's go, band. Let's give them some more. Like from when I stay too long. Now I'm wondering if your love's too strong. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Anytime I went and said goodbye, now I'm back and not ashamed to cry. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. I keep baby, yeah. Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours, yeah. I keep baby, oh yeah. Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours, yeah. I've done a lot of foolish things, never really did me. I can be a broken man, yeah, you know. Done a lot of things in this whole world. When I touch them, there ain't nothing there. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Ooh, baby, set my soul on fire. That's why I know you're my only desire. Here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Good night, come on, you baby, oh yeah. Signed, sealed, I'm yours, yeah. I can't baby, oh God. Signed, sealed, I'm yours, yeah. I've done a lot of foolish things that I really didn't mean. I can be a broken man if you really understand. Say, I can't baby, oh God. Signed, sealed, I'm yours. Got the future in your hands, girl, yeah. Baby, oh yeah. Signed, sealed, I'm yours, yeah. I've done a lot of foolish things that I really didn't mean. I can be a broken man, if you really understand. I've done a lot of foolish things that I really didn't mean. I can be a broken man, if you really understand. Na 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 na. It's a celebration, y'all. Dr. Martin Luther King. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. This hit that ice cold, Michelle White for that white gold. This one for the good girls, them good girls. They masterpiece. Solid, rolling, living it up in the city. Got Chuck Silver with Sailor. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Got a police in the fire, I'm too hot. They can bag it, wanna retire. I'm too hot. Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. Said Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. So and we miss one. Don't believe me, just watch. Come on. Just watch. Just watch. Don't believe it, just watch. Don't believe it, just watch. Don't believe it, just watch. Hey, hey, oh. Wait a minute. Fill my cup, put some drink in it. Take a sip, sign a check. Well, yo, get a check. Right there, Harlem, Hollywood, Jackson, Mississippi. We show up, gonna show up. Smoother than a fresh job skipping. I'm still here. Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. Uptown Funk gon' give it to you. Send it on your way, that's right. Don't believe it, just watch. Come on, check. Don't believe it, just watch. Don't believe it, just watch. Don't believe it, just watch. Break it down one time. Before we leave, it's only right that we funk it up a little more. So, uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Hey, uptown, funk you up. 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 We say dance, jump on it. This dead and falling. You dead and on it. Don't brag about it, come show me. Come on, dance, jump on it. You dead and on it. Cause it's Sunday night and we in the spot. Don't believe it, just watch. Come on. Don't believe it, just watch. Don't believe it, just watch. Don't believe it, just watch. Just watch. Don't believe it, just watch. Let's go, bitch.